to get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
Ratatouille, what do you got?
Bird.
Now it. Stay off the comm.
How's it going out there, YouTube land and all subsequent social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about a new film that just got released last Friday on HBO Max and into theaters. Is a DCEU upcoming film that a lot of people were looking forward to. It's gotten great reviews and has been a huge success except for in the financial market, but still is considered a really well done film. So we're going to get right into that. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on this video and the other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoyed this content and want to check out my other social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, definitely check those out too, because they're a bunch of fun as well. And as always, people, let's get right into this. Welcome one and all to an all-new video. So like I was saying before, we're talking about a new DCEU film that just got released on HBO Max and into theaters last Friday. And that happens to be the film called, you wait for it? You think you know it? Not Black Adam, no. The Suicide Squad. Oh yeah, The Suicide Squad. Ooh. So not to be confused with the 2016 film Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is a 2021 film that was directed by an amazing director and is a supposed sequel to The Suicide Squad from 2016. But this film is none other directed by a gentleman that we all have come to love and known, and that had a crazy falling out with Marvel for a few weeks and then got pulled back in. And that, of course, is Mr. James Gunn. Oh yeah, James Gunn. Woo, James Gunn. So James Gunn, of course, we all know, he's been around for quite a few years. He's done a few different films. He's done some, TV shows and so forth and stuff like that. But he's just an amazing director that has a great edge, has a great idea behind any film he does, and just gives us a really fantastic, usually, film. Now, a couple of films that I've really enjoyed him in are as followed. Now, the first film is actually his directorial debut that came out in 2005, 2006. And it stars Nathan Fillion, Michael Rooker, and Elizabeth Banks. And that, of course, is a film called Slither. Oh, yeah. Slither. Yeah, so Slither is an amazing horror comedy film. It is so freaking awesome. It's a great concept about basically an alien parasite that comes down and starts trying to take over the world through this one town. And, there's been several films over the years about parasites and stuff like that, but this one was just really interesting because it was very different than the other ones I had seen, because basically this one took, all kinds of craziness and basically turned these people into, a giant mesh of just globbiness and stuff like that, and just altered them so differently than other versions I had seen, where it just kind of mind-controlled people. So I thought that was a really great aspect that James Gunn brought to this and gave us this really interesting film. If you haven't seen Slither, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. Now, of course, the second film I'm probably going to talk about, or series I should say, for a great cast, is none other than the amazing film series that was brought to us through Marvel, of course, is his other directing features, the Guardian of the Galaxy series. Oh yeah, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh my god. When he first came on the scene with Guardians 1, I remember thinking that it was so different than any of the other previous Marvel films I had seen. And it was a really nice treat because it was different, it was fun, and it gave us a whole new aspect into the Marvel Universe because it really talked about the space atmosphere of the Marvel Universe because we really hadn't ventured into that yet. So this was a great introduction, and I thought James Gunn did a really great job of bringing that to life for us. So if you haven't seen the Guardians of the Galaxy films at all, definitely check them out, people. James Gunn did an amazing job with it and just shows how great of a director he is. And with the Suicide Squad, once again, he brought his A game and gave us a really fun film. Now, I've actually watched this film 3 times now, and each time it actually gets better and better. Because when I first saw it, there was things I was like, I was really surprised James Gunn decided to do certain things throughout the film, and, you know, I was really sad that he did certain, you know, things with certain characters, and, you know, the first time I was, like, really pissed about it. The second time watching, I was like, okay, you know, I'm not as mad about it this time, because the movie, there's other parts of the movie that emphasized and were really good, and then the third time it was like, wow, this movie really is good, it is really enjoyable, and even though those things happen, I can't let it tell me that I don't like the movie when I do. And I thought James Gunn did a great job of bringing that to life. If you haven't seen The Suicide Squad yet for James Gunn's directing, he did a really fantastic job and made it a very decent film. So this movie has a really fantastic cast. We have a few people returning from the first film, with a lot of new people being introduced into this film that just were really great choices, and I thought they did a pretty decent job. So to start us off is really the lead of the film, I feel, that kind of took over Will Smith's place from the original Suicide Squad. And that, of course, is Mr. Idris Elba! Oh yeah! Idris Elba! Woo! Idris! Yeah! So Idris Elba, of course, you might recognize from, like, Pacific Rim. You might recognize him from No Good Deed, or a slew of films that he's done over the years. But a couple of films I really enjoyed him in as followed. Now, the first film that I loved him in was actually a spin-off film of the Fast and Furious franchise that I was really, you know, surprised that they brought in Idris for this film, because I wasn't sure exactly what he was going to play in it, but he actually ended up being a really great bad guy in that. And of course, that film is called Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah! Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. So the two characters that we've come to know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's character Hobbs, and then of course Jason Statham's character Shaw. We got a whole spin-off film that's just about those two characters, and Idris Elba actually plays the main villain of the film, who happens to have known, you know, Jason Statham's character in the past. And Idris did a really great job of playing this villain. I thought he was really interesting. I thought that he did a good job of bringing this character to life. I liked his action sequences, and I liked the, you know, kind of characterization he brought to the character and gave it that really kind of sinister feel, even though, you know, there is some feeling there a little bit, but it was lost when basically majority of his human body was taken over by cybernetics. And I think that they did a really great job of bringing that to life, you know, from paper onto the screen through Idris's, you know, performance, and I thought he did a really good job. If you haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. So that brings me to the second portion of what films I really enjoyed Idris Elba in. And that, of course, is the great, amazing Marvel series that has been brought to life by Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston. And Idris Elba actually has been one of the characters in the films that was throughout all three films that is just a really great character. And that, of course, is the Thor series. Oh, yeah! Thor series. Yeah! So Thor Dark World, and then, of course, Thor Ragnarok. Oh, yeah. So Idris Elba plays a character named Heimdall, who is the gatekeeper of the Odinheim. And you just really come to know Heimdall a little bit more, I feel, in Thor Ragnarok. That's like his biggest, I think, film that he had the most airtime, I felt, in the entire series. Because you briefly see him in the first Thor, then in Thor Dark World, you get a little bit more of him. He has a fight sequence where he, you know, grabs onto one of the Dark Elves' ships and, you know, screams down it to destroy it. And I thought he did a really good job of playing this character. I thought he really brought Heimdall to life from the comics. I thought he gave him a good aspect, a good kind of mentality. And I just really enjoyed his interactions with everyone that he participated in. And I like that, like, kind of, like, straightforward, kind of, like, I am, like, a soldier, I'm doing this is my duty kind of deal. And I thought he did a good job of portraying that, too, and just gave it this really interesting character. Now, it comes to his performance in The Suicide Squad, playing Bloodsport. This was his best performance to date, I think. He was amazing as Bloodsport. I absolutely loved him. I actually enjoyed him more than Will Smith in the first Suicide Squad as his character, a Deadshot. I just really fell in love with Bloodsport. The whole look of him, looking kind of like an xenomorph, his whole ability to make anything into a weapon and making it like super huge and kicking butt, and just Idris did a great job of portraying this character, giving us this really great new character that was very different from Deadshot, that really differentiated them, and I thought that he did such an amazing job. He was actually probably one of my most favorite characters in the film, and I just thought he did such a really amazing job. If you haven't seen the Suicide Squad yet, definitely go check it out on HBO Max or go see it in the theaters and check out Idris. He was amazing in the film. So that brings me to the pièce résistance in this film, and Miss Harley Quinn herself, Miss Amazing Margot Robbie. Oh yeah, Margot Robbie, woo, Margot Robbie, yeah. So Margot Robbie, amazing actress. She is so fun. She is Harley Quinn to the T, and absolutely fantastic as a character, and I love her and as this character, and I can't see anybody else playing this character except for her as Harley Quinn. She's just so great at it, and this is one of the best casting that DCEU has done in their casting, and this is a gold mine. She is really fantastic as a character. Now, you might recognize her, of course, from other things other than Harley Quinn. She was, of course, in The Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, a couple films I've enjoyed her in as followed. Now, the first film is a other DCEU film that is kind of like Harley Quinn's solo film, even though it's called a certain name. And it's supposed to be about these DCEU characters, but it's more of a Harley Quinn movie. And then, of course, the film called Birds of Prey. Oh, yeah. The Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Ooh. Such a great freaking film. Ewan Mcgregor as the main bad guy villain character was awesome. Black Mask, he was perfect as this character. He was so enjoyable and made the movie so much better. I mean, you had Journey Smollett in this film, Rosie Perez, all playing really great characters. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, all playing the different characters. The Huntress, you know, you have, just a great amount of characters. You see cameos, or you should see poster cameos of, like, Boomerang in this film. But it's just an awesome film. It's mostly about Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, really. And Margot is so awesome in this film. I love the evolution of Harley Quinn in this film. I love where they took the direction. I love where they decided to take her, how they make her, emancipate herself from the Joker, become her own thing, and I just really enjoyed the whole concept of the film, and I thought that Margot did an amazing job in this film, and really acted really well along everyone that was involved in this film. If you haven't seen Birds of Prey, definitely check it out. It's worth the watch, and it's a really great DCU film. The second film I really enjoyed Margot Robbie in is a great film based on a true life incident, and it's about the life of a figure skater that unfortunately, was super popular and then lost it all when an accident happened between her and a rival skater. And then, of course, is the film called I, Tonya. Oh yeah, I, Tonya. Oh my god, this movie is so freaking fantastic. Paul Walter Hauser's in it. You have Allison Janney in it, Sebastian Stan. You have a huge, awesome ensemble cast in this film, and they really brought to life this whole, kind of story about Tonya Harding, and kind of, what happened to her between, becoming famous, the Nancy Kerrigan thing, and then kind of what happened to her afterwards. And she did a fantastic job, Margot Robbie, of playing Tonya Harding. Now, it comes to her performance as Harley Quinn in this film. Once again, she amazes, she honors Harley Quinn, and she gives us an even better performance, and gives us more evolution to this character, which is absolutely fantastic. Her humor, her facial expressions, everything about how she plays Harley Quinn was on point in this film, and she was just a great joy to have alongside the other characters that we got to, watch in this film. And it was just a really fun, especially the scene where she's like, the last time I said I was going to get a new boyfriend, I was going to look for red flags. Oh my god, that scene hands down was freaking hilarious and just on point. Margot did an amazing job of portraying that and giving us this great scene that was like supposed to be kind of serious but comical at the same time, which was so well written by James Gunn, and just give us this really great, other performance, from Margot as Harley. Really fantastic. If you haven't seen The Suicide Squad yet, definitely check out Margot in it. She's fantastic and a great addition to that film. So that brings me to the final actor I'll be talking about that was a part of the Suicide Squad. And that is this awesome, amazing actor who does a lot of like bit scene characters and stuff like that. Not really ever been like a kind of a leading guy. This is kind of his first leading kind of role, I feel. And he is awesome in this film, and he's just a great actor, and I love him. And that, of course, is Mr. David Dashberlin. Oh yeah, David, woo! So if I said his name wrong, I'm very sorry. That's a long, hard name, I feel, to say. But he is so awesome, David. He is really cool. I always enjoy everything he's in. And he's just a really fun actor to watch because he's played so many different roles, and his different accents have been on point and fun and just really enjoyable to watch. Now, a couple things that I've enjoyed him in is as followed. Now, the first is a great other Marvel series that has been very enjoyable. He plays kind of like a actor for Paul Rudd in this film. He plays kind of part of his gang along with, Louise and T.I.'s character. And he just plays this character to T, and he's so awesome as the character. And that, of course, is the Ant-Man series. Yeah, Ant-Man. So Ant-Man and then Ant-Man and the Wasp. He plays the same exact character in each film, and he just is so awesome as character. His like Russian accent is on point and hilarious. His like demeanor, his like some of his lines are just so freaking funny in that film, especially in the first one. And then the second one, especially when he's talking about the ghost, and he's like telling the story, and that was freaking hilarious. And just like the presentation and how he works with T.I. and Louise and stuff like that, and like how they work together and stuff was just so freaking funny and fun. And David just brings a greatness to this character. It's just a really enjoyable character, and I really enjoy him in the series. If you haven't seen the Ant-Man films, definitely check them out, people. They are worth the watch. So that brings me to the second film he was in that I really enjoyed him in. Now, this is more of a cameo that he did in this film. It wasn't a huge part, but what little part it was so fun, and I loved him as the character. And that, of course, is his cameo in the film Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Oh, yeah. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Oh, yeah. He is awesome in this little cameo. He plays a SWAT commander at the beginning of the film, and he's freaking hilarious. His demeanor, his expressions, his lines were all so freaking funny, and I just loved that beginning scene with him and how he interacts with Jay and Silent Bob, and kind of like how he's like, trying to be forceful at the same time. He's like, why am I after these two dumbasses, kind of deal. And he just was on point in this cameo. It's so fun and hilarious. Now it comes to his performance as Polka Dot Man. As soon as he got introduced, I fell in love with his character. Even though Polka Dot Man has had an interesting history throughout the comics, very different than how they made him in this film, he still was just so endearing and so fun and so awesome, and I love the take that James Gunn decided to go with it. Him being infected with this mutated virus that his mother created to make them into super people was absolutely genius. And David brought that character to life to the T, and it was so awesome. And just everything, every scene he was in, he was so good, he was so awesome, so funny, and just brought a great addition to that awesome ensemble cast. If you haven't seen David in anything, definitely check him out in the Suicide Squad. He was amazing. So what is the Suicide Squad about? So basically this time around, Amanda Waller is basically sending them out on this mission to basically destroy all this information on these projects that, aren't the best projects, that shouldn't be funded by their company, through Star Labs and all that kind of stuff. And basically trying to destroy all the information to prove that they're not connected to this experimental stuff going on in the project called Starfish. And basically she sends in two teams to take care of this, one as kind of a distraction, and the other one to go in and destroy all the information. It's basically about their journey to getting to the complex, destroy this information, and kind of what all happens to them, and what happens to this Suicide Squad. I give this one definitely 8 out of 10. Because of killing off certain characters, I give it 8 out of 10. Golden Movie Box is up. If they hadn't done that, it probably would have been a 10 out of 10, but still a really well-rounded film, really funny directed by James Gunn, and written, and just an all-around great film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been here before, definitely check out any of my older or newer videos. You might not have seen mine yet. As always, people, check out my awesome links down below, where either for my Patreon page or the Horror Pack, which are great subscription services. The Patreon page, if you go on there, people, you will not regret it. You'll get to see outtakes, bloopers, all kinds of cool stuff like that from me. And, you know, it gives you a way awesomer experience with my content. And especially if you love my content, why not check that out too, people? So, yeah, definitely check out my Patreon. It's really fun. And as always, people, I will catch you in the next one.